Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a special Tuesday night edition of the Sully Squad. I know it's what is it, September 3rd? Best time of the year, fellas. I mean, it's football season. You know what I mean? You got baseball pennant races, you got football. We had a little bit of college football last week. I know Adam, Sean, and I are both Notre Dame fans, so we were kind of happy about Saturday night pulling that game out.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to get into here. I got my usual cast minus Diego. I got my man Sean right next to me. What's up, Sean? How you doing?
What's up, man? How's everybody doing, man?
What's up, Sean?
Doing pretty good. And then I got a special guest. I got my man Adam Ratcliffe. Now, Adam's been in all kinds of stuff here. In fact, a few weeks back, I saw a movie called St. Michael of the City. And I got to tell you, man, I was sitting in Buck's Bagels and I saw the poster and I'm like, man, I know this guy, you know what I mean? So I made it a point to watch it. And boy, I'll tell you, it was really good, man. It was a really, really good movie. So, Adam, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. And, like I said, man, anybody out there really should check that out. It was really good.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Yeah, those people at Buck's Bagels are they're God's people, man. They're the salt of the earth. I love them. I always forget how to pronounce. I forget his last name, but they're good people. They were happy to have the poster. The poster is all around Bucks County, so I just want to say thank you to all the owners, the business owners that were gracious enough to let us put a poster. I wanted to get it to where there was foot traffic, and obviously I went to the places that I eat, and that's one of my favorite spots. So thanks for mentioning them.
Yeah, I was gonna say they got great bagels. In fact, I DoorDashed them the other morning. So yeah, I'm like 2 minutes, like I'm literally 2 minutes away from there. So sometimes I'll go for like a run in the morning, and it's funny because I'll go for the run and then I'm like trying to be on the straight and narrow because they are great sandwiches, but it's like, all right, I'm trying to be good today. And then I'm like, all right, no, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? But it's really good.
Yeah, it's convenient. We forget about it a lot because it's so close, and it's like tacky. We live like right behind it, but every now and again we'll dip in there and eat the breakfast is great, really good, and they have good chicken salad too. So
nice.
I think they're from Guatemala, so I work on my Spanish when I get in there too. I lived in Midtown Manhattan, so I always went to a coffee shop where they were also from Guatemala. So I like to work on my Spanish in the morning and get the culture.
Nice.
Cool, man. Well, listen, like I said, man, we'll get in. We're going to get into a lot of football because I know you're a big sports fan. But you were mentioning to me, you have any different projects coming up?
I have like 6 appearances. The last 2 years have been wild. I want to say almost 3.5 actually, because COVID. That was the first time I had a recurring, and that's kind of like when people ask what I've done. I have to mention the Invasion series because that was a $200 million series. It was my first recurring, and it was devastating because I had 3 more episodes to shoot, and I'm in the middle of the first episode, and it was Westchester, New York. It's kind of hard to remember this for most people, but that was where COVID, that was this like deadly, virus, broke out the most, and my wife was giving me crap. I'm like, listen, you got to be, this was a opportunity of a lifetime. So I'm up there. I'm playing a National Guard, taking an A-lister she was from Iran. I didn't know how famous she was, but like she's Julia Roberts in all the desert countries. She is one. She's actually not allowed back there because she did some lingerie pictures. But she's I can't pronounce her name. Golsifitha is her first name. She was in a movie with Adam Driver about upstate New Jersey. I forget the name of it. Anyway, long story short, I'm working with her. I'm taking her from town to town. Sam from Peaky Blinders. Sam, anybody know that guy from Jurassic Park, Jurassic World?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a British actor from Peaky Blinders. He was the nemesis. But anyway, he was the lead in this series, and they shut it down for about 8 months. And I was devastated. Everybody gained weight, but they had so much money that I wound up going back and living in a hotel, like the bubble for the NBA. And the episodes were spread out. So I had to go home after I was done quarantining for literally 23 hours a day, then go back to shoot the final episode. And I was with pretty recognizable talent, and I was very happy to be there, but it was really challenging and isolating. And so at the end of the day, that kind of set off. It's wild that COVID hurt so many people, but it set off for me a level of greater work, if you will. And they paid us to be in the hotel, so I wound up making it takes a certain amount of money to get insurance for your family, and so I was making an additional $5K on top of my pay as this lead, recurring actor for the first time. So fast forward to now, I've gone from job to job to job. I just worked on 2 series in Philadelphia that I signed an NDA for, but one I didn't for Netflix. It's called The Madness. It's got a man named Coleman Dominguez. He was just in Ruskin. He won a Golden Globe for the role of Ruskin, and he was also in the new remake of Color Purple. He actually went to Overbrook High School, but he's blowing up right now. He's a huge talent. And then after that, I worked with 2 Apple TV series. And there's one more. Oh, yeah. So I'll be on a Starz television show called 3 Women that was New York Times bestseller. It's about 3 random women who went through pretty traumatic events. And it actually went from Showtime. And because COVID hit and they started cutting down material and content, and like it was a lot of tax write-offs for big producers because there was so much content that was being held up. This one wound up finding a home at Starz, and the director of that is the director from Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, okay.
And, I play a lot of military, a lot of cops on huge productions, and St. Michael of the City is a very good movie. I would say that the greatest achievement, though, thus far, is a film called Saving Sizemore that I was able to raise a bunch of capital for from my hometown of Bucks County. And that is currently being looked at by Netflix. Whether they take on the project or not, I do not know. But they have yet to say no, and we've had 3 calls with them. It was on the life of Tom Sizemore, the A-list actor from the early 2000s.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And the long or the short with that is, in my opinion, knock on wood, going to find a home here eventually within the next couple months. So that's been 3.5 years in the making. And he was a remarkable talent. He was just had a lot of troubles. It was kind of devastating to watch, but so I did the best I could there. I actually came up with the title Saving Sizemore, and it's kind of reverse title, if you will, because we were unable to do that, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting because I remember, obviously we saw all the stuff he was in, and then it's ironic because you brought up the COVID, and like just to tie in a little Philly sports theme, obviously for many people it was horrible, but but hey, what do you say? You find a silver lining in anything, right?
Yeah.
Well, so it worked out for you, and then I always think in a Philly sports theme, the 76ers would have never got Tyrese Maxey if it wasn't for COVID. Because if you really think about it, there was no NCAA tournament that year. Had there been a tournament, he probably would have balled out, and there's no way in God's green earth he would have lasted to 21.
No.
So that's 2, right?
He's the best, man. I just hope that he understands that he's the closer. I'm just like you guys. I'm a little watered down at this point because my heart has been broken so many times. Yeah, Temple University. I did call Temple University, John. I called them to get an interview. Tom was an enigma and an anomaly as an actor because he actually got a master's from Temple, and the first thing that he had auditioned for, he was actually dating the woman that was the mother on The Sopranos, Edie Falco, at the time.
Oh,
and
wow.
She actually, he had met her at an audition. His first audition, one of them was Born on the 4th of July, and he wound up getting it, which, other than Ashton Kutcher, from that 70s show, it's very, very rare that happens. Just a down to earth. I mean, people in Philly would have loved Tom because he was true and real. And unfortunately, he just had too many demons. But yes, an icon. Thank you for mentioning that, John. Tyrese Maxey is like, had I grown to be 6'1", I told you a little bit about my football career. I played at Westchester University on football scholarship as a linebacker.
Okay.
I was a smaller version of Zach Thomas, kind of a fire hydrant linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not the fastest, but I had incredible instincts, and I'm the all-time leading tackler at Central Bucks East High School by like almost 200 tackles. But I was yes, so Tyrese Maxey's my guy. I just hope that when Joel didn't win against Toronto and he couldn't pull out to close that series with Kawhi Leonard, my heart was so broken that I still am guarded. I'm still guarded from that series. The only reason I'm so into it is because my son is now a hooper. He plays basketball. He scores 14 points a game out of nowhere, by the way. Our kids are the same age, so I'm just now catching fire, and I'm telling them, like, love on these guys. Just know they don't know that you exist. Don't put your heart and soul into it too much, because you will eventually get broken.
Yeah. I know you're right. It's like that fine line. Like Joey actually just started. He's just getting into basketball, so I just had him over. We go to the well, we play at the courts, but he goes over to that Pickup USA right over there.
Yeah, wow.
So we were just there today.
Pack them in like sardines over there, Joe.
Yeah. Well, you know what cracks me up about him is like he's so short, and like I was just like, I was loving it. He like walks over right to like the tallest kid. He's like, oh, you want to play 1v1? You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
I love that, because hey, that's how you learn. You know what I mean?
It's the fight in the dog.
Yep.
That's what it is, man. That's how you have to have it.
Carter is the opposite of Joey. Carter does not instigate relationships. He does not initiate them, but he does play along. And like you said, Sean, the dog is kind of finding his way through because he's the big kid right now. And he had a summer team where there were like second and third graders, and Carter was like, he's like a baby giraffe. He's listening to me, so I can't say too much, but the other team had all fifth graders, so they didn't know Carter's playing with these like advanced second to third graders that were really, really good. Actually, the father was the all-time leading scorer at Archbishop Wood High School. His name's Tim Whalen.
Okay.
Anyway, Carter was being challenged by this whole team, and I'm like watching, and for the first time, Joe, I was like super, I was quiet about it, but I was sitting back saying, wow, he's got some dog in him. You know what I mean? These kids were like, they went from being like kind of cocky to like, oh, he's gonna foul me. He's gonna fight back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was hot every night. It's getting hotter every summer, guys.
It definitely is. Yeah, Sean and I played like every day, so we know. But yeah, man, how about if we let's get into a little bit of this. Philadelphia sports here.
I'm into it.
Yeah, like I want to get into some football, but real quick, this time last week, we had Mark Farzetta on, and I was asking him if the Phillies were back, and we kind of like chuckled a little bit because they had been struggling for so long, and they won a few games versus Kansas City, and well, you know what? After a 5-2 week of beating Houston 2 out of 3, and Atlanta 3 out of 4. I don't know. I feel like I can comfortably say it looks like the Phillies might be back. Sean, I'll start with you, I guess. What's your feeling, man? I mean, seven games up.
Yeah.
Magic number is like 21. What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. The series with Atlanta, like we said, it was a statement game. And Nick Castellanos Sunday night, comes through bottom of the 10th with that RBI single walk off. I mean, the more I talk shit on him, the more he listens, and he's keep on doing his thing. So I'm going to keep on doing it. You got Bryce Harper. I think he's battling injuries. He's that athlete that's not going to say, yo, my wrist is hurt, my elbow, whatever. He's going to fight through it, battle. But as a team, they just pick each other up, man. I'm just hoping Stock gets on the roll. Trey stops making errors in the infield, but all in all, man, I'm right there with you. I think it's something special. Like we said, I could say it. And then you got Captain Caveman, he needs to start producing, but all in all, I think if he shaves that beard and that hair, I think you see a new person. But that ain't happening. But it's just exciting to watch this team. Everybody counts us out. They talk shit. It's like that. Nobody likes us, and we don't care. Just bring it. So I'm loving it.
Yeah, what's funny? Speaking of Marsh, right? Like I'm watching the game on Thursday night, and this is so funny. I text my buddy Johnny like after he struck out. I'm like, dude, I love Marsh. I'm like, but maybe his ass needs to sit on the bench. I mean, Jesus God, how many times is dude going to strike out? Very next bat, he hits a home run. I'm like, well, I guess I'm not exactly Nostradamus,
Just gotta keep talking that shit, man. It's just like Nikki Three Buttons. Yeah, they hear you.
So listen, Sean, are you familiar with Herb from '94?
Yeah.
Castellanos. Yeah. So my son and I, we love saying Castellanos. He knows me. He knows me. So I that's why I don't get worked up about guys like Marsh being in a slump, man. I mean, look at man. I wish I had a crystal ball. This is why sports are so fun.
Yeah.
I was looking. I apologize if I was distracting you. I was looking for the football that we throw on the summer and in the fall here. But yeah, man. I don't put too much stock into anybody having a slump. I mean, Bryce Harper usually comes out at the right time. That's the cool thing about Bryce is he is a closer. I think we finally have somebody that can show up at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how nice is that, right?
Yeah. And the bullpen, and what more to ask for? How about that? The bullpens kindly finding their niche. This is Estevez guy, man. He's on point. Hoffman had a couple hiccups, but he's coming around. I like something about that kid Orion Kirkland, man. I think sooner or later he's going to be lights out.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I am not a huge pitcher aficionado. I love Wheeler. I'm getting to know our closers because I feel like they're kind of new. A lot of who did you say that the big tall dude
Hoffman, and then you got Strom too. Strom, the long-haired guy.
For lack of better terms, you want to beat me out, but he's a badass. I like Hoffman a lot.
Yeah, he's got that fire in his eye.
Yeah, man.
But I'm hoping, like me and Joey said last week, Alvarado. He was out a couple games with personal reasons. Hopefully, he bounces back and gets his velocity up.
You were reading my mind there because I'm on the fence with that guy, and he's always in a tight spot. He's always in a big spot.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to get, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think the London trip, like we said before, kind of did him in as a player. Who knows what happened, but yeah, his velocity dipped. His pitches aren't in the box, but hopefully he pulls it around with this series coming up with the Blue Jays and the Marlins.
Yeah, when he's on, he's really on. He's a fighter. He's just like Hoffman. I like how excited he gets, man. I can't wait. I hope that it is real. I'm with you guys. I'm leaning towards the fact that it might be. They might be out of this slump for a bit here.
Yeah.
And Castellanos, man, he's killing it.
I love that.
He is, man. I mean, he is. You couldn't ask for anything better. You know what I mean? And JT, one of the best damn catchers. I love the way he calls the game.
You know what? I'm gonna go all in for Castellanos, man, and tell all the broadcasters to leave him alone. His one-word answers they're authentic to me. I don't know the guy. They are authentic. He is a very zen dude. He doesn't drink. He doesn't really care for the fluff. I'm that type of guy. Unfortunately, I over pontificate, but I kind of understand. He's centered in his interviews, as far as I'm concerned. For a young guy, doesn't look very flappable at all. You know,
Like the woman on ESPN Sunday nights, like asked him that question. He's like, "Did you watch the game?" I'm like, "What kind of question's that?" Like, look at the stats. Look at what he did. End of story. Game
it's
over.
hard. It's got to be hard, man. You know, you're in front of these people all the time. You're exerting all that energy. I mean, the other day, Bryce Harper was mic'd up in the middle of the.
I hate that, dude. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, how is this even allowed? You know what I mean? Like, it takes
They're
from
not
the
focused
game.
on the game. You're right.
Correct.
Because if I'm correct, the last game they had on ESPN, somebody was up. He's like, "Look, I hate to cut you short, Sky. I gotta cheer on my guy and watch." Like nobody wants to hear these stupid ass comments from Twitter or somebody. Just let them watch the game how they always do. You know.
Unfortunately, people do. They're simpletons, but they don't really understand how hard it is to be out there and focused. I honest to goodness, never saw it before. Have you seen that before, Sean? Is it new?
It's not. It's the common thing on ESPN, like to interview a guy in the outfield and the infield. Come on, man. You know.
Yeah,
What
I
do
mean, the
you-
guy's
what are they
pitching 100
gaining
miles
out?
an hour. He can get one to the eye.
Yeah. I think he said when he was playing first, he's like, "Look, man, I got to focus on this player at bat," which is
Yeah,
true.
I didn't like
you
it
said,
at all.
would you want to take a liner to the dome?
Correct.
Just
You know,
doesn't make.
it's like the football interview where you got like Saban or Belichick's run into the friggin' locker room and say they're losing, and they're like, "Oh, so what do you think?" They don't say shit. Like, what are you trying to get out of it? They're not going to tell you nothing. You know what I mean? Like these guys
what's your
are
game
hyper
plan?
focused
You're getting
on
your
the
ass
task at
kicked.
hand.
Just ask the Florida State coach how he feels.
Oh
Yeah,
my god!
Dude?
Speaking
has
of
to be the
them,
worst.
boy, they look
They
like
got
shit.
beat last night by Boston College, which I know my cousin's watching. He's probably loving it. But yeah, how do you feel? How do you think he feels?
Yeah, really.
You get
I mean,
you get beat by an unranked team, and top it off, you lose on a walk-off field goal in Ireland. Get your ass kicked, and it's like they overhype Florida State.
Sean, it's the
how it
power
is.
of the media, man. It's
Yeah.
the same. It's the same reason people get paid. The more you hate them, like Stephen A. Smith. The more we talk about all the stupid stuff that he says, and it's a formula that people have been using for years and years and years to keep the sales coming in. And unfortunately, it's cyclical. And I knew it when I got into it because I graduated with a communications degree. And I actually, in the summer of 2002, was invited to go to the Eagles camp. I was an intern at NBC 10, and I decided not to, man. I decided I didn't want to me, that was my life. I played football at a high level, and I was like, I just don't want to be that weepy kid that follows these guys around and tries to create, this mystique of their life. They're just dudes, and it's unfortunate because we forget. Like Jalen Hurts, he's gonna say dumb shit. He's 24 years old, man.
right.
He's not. Yes, he should be held responsible when he has terrible games, but like we should not put so much weight into what a 24-year-old dude is gonna say. And I think he's a gamer, and I think he's probably gonna have a really good season. That's my feeling. But like he's not. He didn't go to school for public speaking. He went to play football, and I don't know. I don't know that he did actually. I shouldn't say that, but
Hey, well, you know what? Let's keep it real. If people got on Jalen Hurts' ass for the shit he said last year because they went like 1-6 in their last 7 games, or 1-7, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
They had the collapse. 2022, when he was bowling out and he played great in the Super Bowl, every week he came up with a different cliche. Nobody gave a shit. They're like, dude, Jalen's balling. So who gives? I mean, who cares? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Again, it's cyclical. It's going to come around again, and we're going to be like, well,
it's a lot of finger pointing. Just let the dude do his thing. He's a true athlete. He's one of the top-notch athletes. And then when he gets down, like you said, everybody points the finger at him. It's like whatever.
You know what, Joe? I can't listen. I can only talk about my own personal experiences, but being a coach now at the very small level that I'm at with flag football, it gets to be political whether you like it or not. And when there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen, it's unfortunate. And with him, he's got a guy calling plays, and his dad was a coach his whole life. He's
Right.
not going to like what coach has to call, the plays that he has to call all the time. He's not going to like, the structure of some of the receivers or spreading the ball around. He knows
Yeah.
who he wants to throw to. It's very complicated when you play in a team sport. It just is. And who takes the brunt? The coach and the
Yeah.
quarterback.
Right.
They take the brunt of the blame.
Now, with this moving forward, you see us with Kellen Moore, Adam, new offense coordinator, a lot of motion, tight end involved, a lot of
I
running.
hope the tight end is involved.
That's what I'm hoping for. My question to you is, do you see this offense being high-powered with the 3 wide receivers we got, with the addition of Dotson, Dallas Goedert? What do you see? And
honest to goodness, I believe right now in Jalen Hurts' talent, and I say it at football to the kids because especially flag football. Not much happens at 10 years old if the quarterback can't throw the ball and get the because
Right.
it's not being slowed down with impact and contact. So. With the Eagles will go as far as Jalen Hurts takes them, in my opinion. Gotta get tight end play, man. You have one of the best tight ends in football, and it just is so lackluster. And it's somewhere around mid-season just falls off. I don't know why. And I'm a huge. I have brain damage from playing middle linebacker for 20 years. Who are our receivers again?
A.J. Brown,
A.J. Brown,
Devontae
Smith.
Smith and
I'm a huge A.J. Brown advocate. Get the guy the ball. He does need to tone it down, but I understand when a kid, just like our quarterback in summer league, Joe, he came right up to me before I even knew him. He's like, "I want the ball." Why would you not want somebody that wants the ball?
That's the first thing. That's the first thing. If you're running a team, that's exactly what you want to hear. You know what I mean?
I don't get down with all that criticism of him at all. I can't get down with it.
Not even knowing the kid's hungry. He likes to play. He wants it, But it all, like you said, Adam, because you coach, it all comes down to fundamentals. And the thing of it is with coaching, like tackling. I know they don't tackle in flag football, but that's key for the next level. Like if you can tackle, you're going places,
Well, TJ Edwards thing broke my heart because I'm a middle linebacker, and he had all the tangibles that most middle linebackers that are 5'10" and 215 pounds would love. He was 6'3", and he was all over the field. We really hurt losing him, and it was evident early. So I don't know. I hope Trotter. I did a movie with Jeremiah Trotter in Philadelphia called The North Star. I actually had a picture of Ike Reese, speaking of, in New York City when I lived up there. I had a signed autographed picture of Ike because he was the underdog. But I hope Jeremiah Trotter's son can kind of separate himself. I don't know. That's to be determined. We should be good, guys. I mean, it's really about chemistry. Like Jason Kelsey said, sometimes when they're not supposed to be good, all of a sudden they got Nick Foles 27-2 or winning Super Bowls. They weren't supposed to be good in 2017. Not that good.
Oh no, that came out of nowhere, and it's funny too because you brought up Nick Foles, Nick Foles, you could see it. You know how some guys either have the dog in them, or they have the quote unquote dog in them and an it factor, and you could see early on in Nick Foles' career he had an it factor. Like you saw it in his rookie year. Like I remember. There were a couple games where that team sucked in 2012, but Nick Foles, pulled out a couple games. He had some good drives, and you looked and you're like, you know what? There's something with this kid. And then you look at Jeremiah Trotter's son. Now, he's not as big as his dad. He doesn't have the measurables. What was he, a 5th round pick? But the one thing that people say about him is he has great football instincts, and you can't teach that. Like you can to a certain extent, but especially. In reality, how many? I mean, it because you played all those years. Sometimes guys either have it or they don't.
Well, it's a finesse game now, and Brian Scott, good friend of mine. I can only speak on my experience, and I was not a college football fan. It was either be in the NFL. And my brother's 6'3". Had we changed bodies, I definitely would have played. He was 6'3", and didn't start playing football till like 10th grade, and I was playing in kindergarten, stopped growing in 6th grade. So at the end of the day, it is not the same game. So if he has football savvy, he has football high IQ, that definitely works for our favor. Again, I haven't really watched him. I don't know his college career very well. I'm a huge Jeremiah Trotter guy. But again, guys, you think about Nick Foles, and we could say all the things we want about how much of a dog he was, but it was chemistry. He was always good here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
He was always good here, even when we were just mediocre. For some reason, the chemistry of the organization, the time in his life, just worked out. So I hope, on paper, we're probably one of the best teams in the NFL right now.
Oh, damn right. Yeah. We solidified, upgraded the secondary, like linebackers.
By the way, Sean, John Teets never forgot you high-load him one time and the Monday night game at the playground, bro.
Left the switch killer. Yep. That's what happens.
You put the killer switch on. I think I remember that game. I think Dallas played Detroit Monday Night Football. You guys all went back to my grandpa's house and watched the Monday night game.
Now, if you ask me to play tackle football now, I'll pass.
I heard there were. You talk about USA basketball. I heard there were like several years over here at SMG where grown men were like fighting and in touch football, like rough touch in that building over here across from Washington.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like there was a time when they first opened that building where it was like there was rough touch leagues. And there would be
I remember
all
that
the time.
Because my buddy wanted to get me in the rough touch league, but you know what, man? Like you said, there's a time and place for that. You gotta
correct.
And what am I gonna do if God forbid if I get hurt? I can't come into work because I blew out my knee. Nah.
Don, I got to tell you, being a tackle guy and like knowing, how much it helped with my anxiety and the complications of being an adolescent and all the stresses of like change and puberty and all that shit, like just rageful thing. It was like the perfect sport for me. Baseball was too slow. I wasn't mature enough to really. A lot of guys that I played baseball with were good at golf. I was super confused at like, how could you be that mature to slow? I was good at baseball. Football just fit. Like, don't think, hit, think, win. And
you're having a bad day in class.
Yes.
What do you do?
Right.
That dude
it's
on
the
the
only
other
sport
side.
you could just dominate somebody physically and not get arrested for it, right? At that age. But my son, like with flag, like if he gets frustrated, it's like a needle in a haystack trying to grab these things. And the kids, he's 5'4" at 10. He's probably a foot taller than most of them. So he's constantly trying. I'm like, dude, if you have no idea how fun it would be just to jack somebody when you have that anger of like, I just missed so I went and got him pads, and I'm trying to save his brain because I have short-term memory from CTE, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And I think it happens when you're really young. That's what the scientists say. That's what a lot of NFL players say.
You don't realize whatever little hit, like you said, Adam, it could be a tap or whatever, but you're still giving yourself head-to-head trauma.
Dude, every play there was lights. Every play I saw lights as a middle linebacker as a kid, and it was taught. There was no don't lead with your head. They kind of encouraged you not to lead with your head, but it was light somebody up, baby. And I went and watched my nephew who plays at Ursinus when he was in Warrington, when he was playing Little League, and I said light him up, and I got reprimanded, and that's when I realized, oh, this is really changed.
Yeah, the game has changed. Yeah, it's funny how it's changed so much.
Yeah.
But
you're right. It is kind of a generation because we're all in the same age range, and that's what we knew. Like I remember another example, like this isn't a playing example, but like, what was it, about 15, 16 years ago before the Will Smith movie came out? Monday Night Football used to have the segment Jacked Up. You guys remember? I don't know if you guys remember. Well, as soon as that Will Smith movie came out, you don't see Jacked Up anymore, but they used to. You know what I mean? Like they don't really show the hits that they did because, like, well, think about it. I mean, like as Eagles fans, like we all love Brian Dawkins, but dude, how many fines would Brian? Well, actually, forget Brian Dawkins, dude. Could Andre Waters even play today?
No,
No way.
I think with those guys, and everybody's forgetting, like Adam said, with tackling. Chuck Cecil, to me, when he played with the Cardinals and the Packers, he was a heat-seeking missile. I mean, he just led with his head. But guys like Dawkins, Waters, Palomalo, they probably would have been suspended. And look at Junior Seau, man. I had the honor to meet him one night when we were out. He was a cool dude, but he was a tackling machine. He was relentless. But man,
Yeah, no, it's real. And hey, I spoke with my mother-in-law on vacation, and I'm doing the best I can with my son because he's really catching on. It's we went and got tackle dummies. I got him shoulder pads. I got him pads. So hopefully he doesn't grow another foot because I want him at least to get out there by 6th grade so he knows what he's doing in junior high.
But absolutely. Try to get him in. Did you do a lot of camps when you were younger?
Oh, dude, I played for 2 teams. I started with St. Cyril's Church, the CYO League, Northeast Philly, and then I played for Warrington. So I played weighted football. So I was like my son. I was bigger than everybody. I was sucking weight in saunas with grown men, spitting in
really?
cups. Yeah, because I was 120. I wrestled 120 in the winter. And I played a 105-pound team in the fall. So if that whole year almost, I would suck 3 pounds before I was on the football field or before I hit the mat. It totally probably, worked with stunning growth and, running in the boiler room before a match, spitting. It was like I couldn't wait to leave. My dad owns a tavern, and all I could think about was like a cheesesteak with cheese whiz, man. Dreaming about it,
Yeah.
Different times, man. Different times. I was like a grown man at 9.
Yeah, it was fun playing in the NESAC League and all that. I played for Calvary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Northeast?
Yeah. Northeast. And then
what are some of the teams you played?
Frankfurt Boys Club, Frankfurt, Moss, Barnhurst.
Coughlin's different, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Frankfurt is there's Northeast in the cycle there?
Yeah, far Northeast, Northeast, black, like they look like the Raiders. Well, I don't know if they changed gray and silver.
Okay.
Moss.
I spoke at Sylvester Stallone's. I spoke at his high school.
Lincoln. You spoke at Lincoln.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That looks like a damn prison.
Dude, there were metal detectors. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
Could not believe it.
There. Yeah, it's bad.
What a shame.
Yeah. They actually don't play the Thanksgiving game anymore. Judge in Lincoln. They disbanded it this year, as a matter of fact. Too many fights. Shit show. Yeah, but
one of my good friends from college, I wound up playing Division I rugby.
Mm-hmm.
He went on. He was he's the AD now at Simon Gratz, but he was the head coach there at Simon Gratz for a long time. And
okay,
yeah, man, there were one game a year there would be a shooting. Unbelievable. And the kids are so talented. Winning program, and they were losing all their players to actually CB South just played that team. Who's our running back last year?
Oh,
his dad's the coach over there. What the hell's the name of that team? They beat everybody 55-0 quad A football.
You got Archbishop Wood. You got Prep. You got
Prep. That's it.
Prep. Yep. And like my cousin said to me via text, we brought up Trotter. Trotter played for the Prep Junior.
Oh, he did. I didn't know that.
Yes, he did. He played there. Harrison's brother, Marvin Harrison Jr., played there. And as a matter of fact, Jet Harrison is a freshman starting on varsity. He played.
It's a shame, Sean. Like, they're really trying to get them out of that league. They need to go on and play those Florida teams, these all-star teams.
The AMGs and all that. They're just so powerful.
It's not a high school football program.
Exactly. Like, with me and Joey, the only guy, they started recruiting players from Cherry Hill, Voorhees, and Ryan just went down in the class. And just like my cousin just texted me, they do travel because, as a matter of fact, they just went to Cleveland and played.
It's DeAndre Swift, by the way. Do we still have him, or we traded
No,
him?
he's on Chicago Bears.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to the Bears and we signed Saquon.
Yeah, I know that. And they are so bitter up there in my other city that I work as an actor in.
Oh, it's great.
I love it because
what's funny? It's funny because they were like Saquon, and then all of a sudden they lose him. They're like, oh fuck Saquon.
Dude, they are bitter, man.
Yeah,
all good because he's going to bring the pain,
Yeah.
and he gets to play him 2 times, and I hope we use him accordingly and just spend out football for him, man.
You mentioned Archbishop Wood. By the way, shout out to Dave Armstrong, good friend of mine. He was the second 4-year starter in Bucks County history. Went to Michigan. I'm the first. I'm just a foot shorter than him, so he got all the credit. He's the head coach over there at Archbishop Wood. So
okay.
Good luck this season, Dave.
Yeah, Wood. It's funny because Wood's had a hell of a program for a number of years. Like when Sean and I were in high school, that was like the early to mid '90s. Back then, it was Ryan had won like a bunch of years in a row, and then once we got out, everything kind of changed. Like not that we were part of it, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? They started recruiting and stuff.
We lost in the championship '96 to Brett Gordon, who's now the coach for LaSalle. We lost to them in the championship.
What was your school again, Sean?
Ryan, Archbishop Ryan.
That's right. Is that Quad A? That's AAA, right?
I think it's Quad A. They moved down. They moved down. They're not in the rankings with the Wood and Prep. Yeah, I think they moved down because
what position did you play?
I played safety and linebacker.
All right, buddy.
Mainly special teams.
All right.
Wedge breaker and gunner. I didn't care how big you were.
Yeah, wedge breaker. I just to get back to the summertime, I told my mother-in-law after talking about all the head injuries, there's very few of us that wouldn't do it over again, right?
I loved it. I really did.
It kind of hurts to see that they changed the kickoff. It hurts.
Yeah, it pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Like
it's
the gunner
weird.
Breaks my heart a little bit. Taking our history from us.
Yeah, the gunner, you just blow up the biggest guys.
Remember running down the field and your helmet's shaking and you can't wait, like you're just building that steam.
Yeah. And the only thing I heard was the whistle. I was like, and that's the only thing. I didn't hear the crowd, and my goal was look down that field, and I'm just going like this with my fingers and like a dog out the gate. I miss it, man.
The very first time I got lit up to where I heard the whole crowd. Oh, you could hear it as I was flying through the air. I didn't play kickoff my senior year because I was on every other special teams, and I finally was able to carry the ball. I was a 4-year starter at linebacker, but my senior year I was also 500 running back, fullback.
Yeah,
I caught a few out of the backfield, but. So I didn't play kickoff. So I play in the All-Star game. It's Bucks County South, Bucks County North. So we played the Lower Bucks, the Trumans, the Council Rocks. No, Council Rock was on my team. So the Pensberries, the Trumans. And I just didn't pay attention to what was happening behind me. And I got lit up as I'm looking for the runner. That cut from left to right, and you could hear the whole stands as somebody blocked me, dude, and crack boxed me.
He got you good.
Yeah, I was out.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
I was out for like a good 30 seconds. Got up, shook his hand, said, "Great way to go, man."
Exactly. I just was gonna say, good shot, man. Slap him on the ass and get up and back at it again.
Well, you know what's funny? Yeah. You know, it's funny when you're a kid, you can do that. But, when you get to be an adult, sometimes you get hurt and you might need to make some money. And if you do, make sure you call my man, Jason Flight, a.k.a. Attorney Big Al. He's got motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or like we said, personal injury claim. Hey, you're on that football field and you get jacked up and you go flying through the air. Jason finds the guy to call, and you know, remember that movie? What was that movie? I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, where he's talking about he should sue for $100 million, but he'll settle for a 40. My man gets you a lot better than old A. You know what I'm saying? So he's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. He's got Philadelphia, PA, Cherry Hill, and Pittsburgh, PA. So had to get that in there real quick. You guys were talking about getting hurt, and I'm like, oh man, when I think of hurt, I think of my man Big Al. So.
And I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Yeah. Well, I always think of that. Yeah, I watched that movie. He's like, I'll sue you for $100 million, but we'll settle this right now for this movie else.
Any y'all step on my bunion, I'm gonna shoot you.
Man, there's some fine shoes, man. Where'd you get them with the goldfish in the back heel?
Yeah, I like. Is that the same movie where maybe I might get my movies confused? But he's like, yo, man, you wear a rubber? He's like, nah. He's like, oh, good. He's like, you don't got the feeling in them Johns, you know? Like, it's just, that movie has like so many one-liners that are so funny, dude.
That was the Wayans brother. That it was the oldest. Keenan.
Keenan.
Yep.
Yeah,
they were hysterical, man. That's
in living color.
Yeah, that's what made everybody. Jim Carrey, Tommy Davidson, Jamie Foxx. Yeah.
I almost said something that wasn't politically correct, but it was Jamie Foxx quote. I remember when J-Lo was like, "Oh, hey, ho."
Yeah, I know, right?
I had to say it. I know it. Hey, I am sorry to the LGBTQ whatever community. I apologize.
You know what?
That's the era I come from.
Hey, you know what? Hey, what are you going to do, right? You know what I mean? Like some things that were funny, it's things that were hysterical 20, 30 years ago. It's like now you're like, oh shit, am I allowed to say it? You know what I mean? Like, you know, at the end of the day, if you really think about it, I mean, I feel like the world would be a better place if people actually could just learn how to laugh together. You know what I mean? Not take everything so freaking seriously.
It's unsustainable where we're at. And I worked at a university last semester. I actually spent an hour with one of the biggest commercial agencies in Hollywood. And I did one Pizza Hut commercial. I made like, you know, $50,000 during football season, baseball season. It was a very, very lucrative gig. And I wish I could go back in time. It was like my last hurrah in my early 30s. And I spent maybe half a morning eating a box of pizza with a bunch of strangers. And it was awesome. But like, so I'm meeting with a commercial agent, and I spent all this hour telling her all about my life. And at the end of it, I was asked how I felt about the community. And I said, I love everybody. And that's just the way it is. I was raised by a hippie tree hugger mother and a Marine father. And I've always been a very, I don't want to say moderate, but just an open-minded person.
Yeah.
You know, kind of torn by two different worlds, but I am not an extremist. I think the extremes are in a bad spot. I think eventually it's kind of the same tree, and the same hate and the same vitriol is coming from these sides. So we need to get back to laughing. Correct. Jamie Foxx, Chris Rock. Bring all that shit back, in my opinion.
Yeah, and speaking of that, John Teat says J-Lo's got as many rings as Brady.
That's about right.
and as many boyfriends or husbands as he's had girlfriends, probably.
Yeah. Hey, that's true. Hey, you know what? I'm sure being Tom. You know, I mean, hey, Tom Brady gets divorced. I'm sure he's not struggling. Let's keep it real. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's doing all right.
He's a smart dude. He put all his funds in his mom's name.
Was that true? I thought that was that really happened.
That's what I'm hearing.
Wow, damn.
I'm impressed by him in a lot of ways, man. I mean, he doesn't hide. He did a roast on him. So I mean, like, you got to have a lot of balls.
Exactly.
A lot of people to roast you. You know, you're like the perfect specimen. I mean, of course you're gonna get ripped apart.
Oh, yeah, really.
Top to bottom. Exactly.
That was a great roast too. Who was it? Especially Nikki. What was it? Nikki Glazer. Oh, she's funny as shit. Man.
I like it, and she's great. You got to check them out on YouTube. Kill Tony Kinslager or something. I'm not going to butcher his last name.
He was funny as shit too. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Kill Tony. Look it up on YouTube. It's hilarious. You know.
Yeah.
If you really want good laugh,
Tom's rocking the Botox very well. I'll say that much too. He's right. He's got the little Simon Powell Botox going. You know, he doesn't take himself too seriously, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty
No.
cheap, apparently, Botox.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Rock said, I don't care if you want to Botox your balls. Who gives a shit, right?
Yeah. I'm a live and let live. I could care less. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Whatever somebody wants to do, I'm like, yo, man, that's do you. You know.
To quote Mike Missinelli, though, I'm gonna as your son's coach, I'm gonna say you couldn't care less, because if you say you care less means you care. So,
there you go. There you go.
He's a ball buster, Mike Missinelli.
Oh, I know.
So
Yeah.
what are our predictions for this Brazil Eagles game come Friday night? How's everybody? What's everybody think?
I was just listening on a bike ride. Ike just demolished. What's our boy's name? What's the guy that travels with the team and does the updates on 94?
Padera.
Yeah, he ripped them because he's picking the Packers.
Oh shit! Really?
And Ike said you got to get off. You take your panties off, sir, and be a man, because we're gonna win this one. So I'm gonna ride with Ike. I respect him. I mean, listen, dude, we have firepower. How do you not win?
Yeah.
I mean, the defense, I think, is anybody's guess, to be honest. But it's a scoring league nowadays, right? And
yeah, I think Fangio is gonna surprise a lot of people with this defense, and I'm all about defense. And one thing I do like is he's going to be in the press box. So you know as well as I do, Adam, you see everything bird's view, where you can nitpick, put this person here, that person there. I think we're going to see a lot of heavy rotation on the defensive front, you know, with the defensive tackles.
I mean, I'm excited as shit to see Saquon Barkley and Green and carry the ball. So.
Absolutely. I want to see 2022 Jalen Hurts too, by the way. You know,
I want to see Slim Reaper, and I want to see a tight end get involved. And number 6.
Yeah.
The only thing, I mean, my biggest concern, I mean, like, you know, I like the Eagles, but I mean, you know, the one thing that concerns me a little bit, and this has nothing to do with on the field, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like, it seems like at least like 3 or 4 of the Eagles were kind of bitching, like, why are they sending us to Brazil? And like, I'll keep it real, like, dude, Brazil don't give a shit about football.
Yeah,
like, why do we keep doing this bullshit? You know what I'm saying? But Slay's talking about it. Maybe it was Devontae Smith. Somebody else.
It was Devontae. It was Devontae.
Right. And it's a little thing, but like, you know, I don't really hear anybody from, like, Green Bay seems like they're just going to play a football game, and some of our guys are like, why are they sending us, blah, blah, blah. I mean, again, I'm probably nitpicking, and I'm sure they're going to be ready to play, but it's just, that has me like a little, you know, my buddy texted me earlier today. He's like, dude, he's like, you see this thing from Slay? And I was like, well, he ain't wrong, dude. I said, I wouldn't want to go there. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it does have you a little concerned, like, is that going to be like a little bit of a distraction? I don't, because it is an evenly matched game. I mean, you look at both these teams, like, you know, Jordan Love, the last 6 or 7 games last year, I mean, Christ, he was playing, you know, if he played the whole year like that, he'd be a finalist for the MVP. I mean, he was playing unbelievable football.
Look at what he did with Dallas. He dismantled them. He sent their ass packing, you know?
Yeah, John Teets has the same concern. He said, you know, I think they can win, but they might be distracted. I like the Eagles. I think the Eagles win. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, and I'm just a little concerned with our pass rush because, you know, like, you know, Hassan Reddick. By the way, if you're Hassan Reddick's agent, or like I mean, dude, like,
you got to be pissed.
He's getting fined out his balls. Like, how could he even walk? He's getting fined so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. He's got to play, bro.
He's one of those players. He's seen himself, Joe. I think, like how we brought it up, 20, 25, 28 mil. But now you got those days are gone to pay him that money, man. But he still thinks in his own little head that he's worth that. And
I went and got my son a Jalen Carter jersey. Santa
absolutely 98.
Okay.
So my hope, because I mean, how dominant was Hassan Reddick, man? I mean, until he wasn't. So my hope is that I think Jalen Carter is going to be the antithesis of that. I think he's going to prove to be. He just needs to pace himself. So that's what I'm really to think about defense and to put perspective on.
He's got great technique,
dude.
Like his stance. You can put him in a 3 or 4, or stand him up. I mean, shit, and he's quick as hell.
Well, they're saying he's in better shape, so
exactly. And you have everything at your hands to get in the best shape. It's not like you don't have it, but you got to want it, like you said. And some of these guys don't realize.
Well, yeah, I don't think. I honestly can't imagine that they didn't want it, Sean. I'm not disagreeing with you. What I do speculate on is, were they prepared as young, heavier dudes that played in a different league,
right?
To be dominant and then run out of steam halfway through a long ass season. Let's face it, they don't want to go to Brazil because it's a business, and the NFL is constantly trying to get more ginormous than it already is.
That whole worldwide tour. Brazil. But like you said, all in all, at the end of the day, it's like a shit show. And
you got to be a killer, man. You got to be a killer. You got to understand that it's all up here. And I teach my son that with sports. It's like, dude.
It is. It really is. And to bring back the point of bitching about the game, Josh Jacobs said it's not a vacation. They're going to be locked up in their hotel room. Like, what is that,
It's more for the worldwide community.
Well, I like the Eagles. I'll say like 30. I'll say like 31-27. I like a 31-27 piece. And then before we get ready to wrap up, all right, that's the prediction for the game. But how about how far is this team going? First off, are they going to win the NFC East? Are they and maybe Super Bowl predictions? Like who do you guys like? All right, let's do each conference. Like, who do you guys like in the NFC Championship game, and then who's playing in the Super Bowl? What's your guys like gut telling you? Adam, I'll start with you. Like, what do you think if you're looking at the season? Like, who do you like?
I kind of like to base my predictions on history, and the history of our teams is when they're supposed to be good. Like Jason Kelsey had said, they're usually mediocre for a time, and they hopefully catch fire when it's important. So I'm not going to panic if they don't come out like having the chemistry that we all hope that they do, just based on being the best team on paper. I'm going to be patient with this team, and I hope they come out and look like a 2004 Terrell Owens, Donovan McNabb, because that's what it should be technically. Anytime you've heard there was the guy that had the best camp, usually it resonates during the beginning of the season, right?
True.
So I'm thinking we're going to see fireworks early on. I'm going to go 12 wins. I'll go 12 wins. 28-14 this weekend.
Cool. Okay. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. That's like, I think the Eagles are favored by what was 2.5 the other day. I think it's up to 3 actually. So that's a cover. If anybody that does that sort of thing, that's a cover. Sean, what do you think, brother?
12-5 and 31-21. Us.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm seeing like a 12-5 first place. I actually think it's funny. I mean, I think Dallas will be tough again. I actually kind of think Washington's going to surprise some people. That kid Jaden Daniels, man. I mean, a lot of the things you read about him, they say that he really looks like he can play, and he's got great speed. So you're going to see a lot of read options. Like, he's going to open up that offense. So I could see. I could see that. Yeah, I could see them being a little bit of a problem. And dude, they always play us tough. I mean, look at last year. They were they were terrible. They were terrible, and they almost beat us twice. Like, in fact, Sam Howell looked like Pat Mahomes against us.
Yeah.
I mean, so did everybody else at the end of the year. But I mean, he looked really good.
Yeah.
Nobody knew his name until he played us.
Yeah, I know. You're like. Yeah, you felt like pulling the Conor McGregor. Like, who the fuck is this guy? You know what I mean? Like, he's beating our ass.
He's in Seattle.
What's that?
Sam Howell's in Seattle now. Go figure.
I know. Yeah. I was a little. Well, I guess it makes sense because you drafted the kid Daniels, but like for Seattle, that having Geno Smith, like I know Geno Smith had a couple decent years, but like I think they didn't give shit for him. I think they gave up like a 5th round pick. Like I would, if I'm running an NFL franchise, if I get a chance to take a guy like kind of what the Eagles did with Pickett, like I know we have Hurts, but like if you tell me I could trade like a mid-round pick for like a quarterback that was a high draft pick that maybe flamed out, I'm doing that 10 out of 10 times, because how many times have you seen dudes in the NFL like look at Rich Gannon? Rich Gannon like literally was like a journeyman quarterback, and then he's in the right place at the right time in Oakland with John Gruden, and he's the freaking MVP, takes him to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So that happens sometimes.
Trent Dilfer. Shit. You're right.
So, but all right. Yeah, so that's
get the ball to Dallas Goedert and everything will be okay.
Yeah. And anybody Super Bowl prediction? I'm gonna sound like a homer, but I'm going Eagles Chiefs rematch of 22.
I hope not, man. I'll go Sean. Oh man. At least I'm gonna be a sissy and say I see us in the NFC Championship game.
Okay, that's fair.
That's it, against the Green Bay Packers.
Wow. Okay. All right. So that means this. Boy. So this game. So this is an NFC Championship preview.
Yes.
Okay. Sean, how about you, bro?
Eagles Ravens Super Bowl.
Wow. So Lamar Jackson finally gets there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, and then we win.
Who win? Eagles win. Eagles win.
Yeah, damn right. You better believe.
Listen, if anybody, I hate to be a douche, but if anybody is listening that actually knows me, wants my opinion on Andy Reid, it is not Andy Reid. It is Patrick Mahomes, everybody. Andy Reid finally has listened to the things that he should have been listening to here. God bless him. He pulled it out, but anything after that first Super Bowl is Patrick Mahomes. Let's not confuse it.
Yeah,
and Bradbury. Thank you.
And you know what? Is like Tom Brady's the GOAT, right now. I would say that because of talent level, and if this kid gets a few more rings in 4 or 5 years time, everybody may be saying Pat Mahomes is the GOAT.
Yeah,
I think he is.
Talent wise, you know what's funny? I'll tell you, that kid is probably the most talented quarterback. Like I started watching '86, and of course, our era, we saw John Elway, Montana, Marino. But this kid athletically, his arm, what do you call improvisation? I mean, I've never seen anybody like this kid.
Yeah,
hard to not root for him, right?
Yeah.
You know what? It's so funny. It's funny you said that, because when I've always kind of liked him, right? And then did you watch that show on Netflix, the quarterback show?
I liked him. I liked him in that too.
Right. And I liked him other than that too. And obviously I was pissed that he beat us in the Super Bowl. And because of that, I'm like, I want to think he's a prick. And then I'm like, man, I like the dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be like, damn.
And then he's loving on our quarterback. I mean, I hope, listen, because he did predict that they will be competing for a long time together. So let's hope that he's right, because we got Jalen, and that's where we're going to stick with him.
You know what's funny? I'll tell you what. I asked a buddy this. I will close on this one here, but I asked a buddy this question: if Mahomes is this modern day Brady, I would, as an Eagles fan, especially considering we only have one Super Bowl, I would settle for Jalen Hurts being this era's Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, minus the off field shit, obviously, but if we could win, if he could get us 2 Super Bowls and make 3, okay, I'm cool with that. Sign up for that shit right now.
Yeah, true.
Especially being from this city, we only have one. So
yeah.
But
the last thing I'll say, at this rate, he's got to stop doing interviews.
Yeah. I know, right?
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe you know what he should do? He should consult Marshawn Lynch's PR guy and just be like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Right? You know what I mean?
Orders for who? For what?
I hear you, but man, it's been a blast, and I'm doing something rare because usually I don't usually do back-to-back shows, but I do a baseball show called Extra Innings, and as soon as we log off here, any baseball fan out there, myself and Dave Yarnell, we're going to break down the pennant races and who's hot, who's not, rookie of the year, all that crap. So so make sure you check us out. We're going to do a baseball show. But Adam, thanks a lot for hopping on, man. It was a blast. And like I said earlier in the show, and make sure you check out all his projects, and particularly the movie. What was it? St. Michael of the City.
St. Michael of the City. Yeah, it was written by Kevin Interdonato. He did some time on The Sopranos. It has Brian Anthony Wilson from The Wire, Detective D. Holly. Speaking of Mike Missinelli, he loves that character. And St. Michael of the City was shot in Trenton. It was shot in Hatboro, and it was shot in Bucks County in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. So shout out to Doylestown.
Particularly, I got a kick out of the Amber Inn scenes because I lived in Doylestown for a few years, and I remember the Amber Inn well. And then the Hatboro one, I noticed. I'm like, oh, that's right down the street from the crib. You know what I mean? So I saw the radio station.
That's right.
Yeah, we got a lot of support from a lot of businesses. Steve Capozzi, shout out to Steve, the owner of the Amber Inn. He was actually in the scene in the opening of the movie. It's a good movie. It's if you want to liken it in LA terms, it's kind of like The Town meets State of Grace with Sean Penn.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, listen. Well, thanks a lot. We'll see you guys. Go Birds. Go Phils.
Go Phils. Go Eagles.
I was gonna say, hopefully when we're on next week, hopefully Eagles are 1-0 and the Phillies are, another 4, 5, 6 games closer to the East. So, all right, everybody. See you guys.
All right. Blessings. See you guys. Thank you.
Later.
Later.